Home buyers are canceling deals at a record rate. All right, what are some reasons that you would want to cancel a deal if you're a buyer? I've canceled deals as a buyer before. Basically, all of them because of an inspection report, and I don't want to deal with it. My third house that I got, which was in at the tail end of 2021, that was by far the hardest house that we ever bought. There was not, mostly because there wasn't a lot of inventory and houses were still getting bought up and overbid and all that. It was really tough. It was really, really tough and very stressful for sure. But there was a house that we really liked that we put under contract. And again, this is not our first house, and I've been through multiple inspections before, kind of know what to look for, all of that. But this house had issues that were under the hood that we didn't see, but the inspection report luckily caught. And we were like, we're not, nope, bye. We like the house and all, but not with this. Not like this. I don't think so. So luckily we did not buy that house. But there were other houses that we bought. Another one, our second house in California, we were looking to buy. This was in 2020. We had a house under contract, and some of the beams in the roofing looked, I mean, it came back fine, but I was sketched out and I was like, no, I don't want to. That looks bad. I don't want to deal with it, because maybe it is fine, but anybody, if we go to sell the house in the future, anybody that's going to see that is going to notice it, and it doesn't look good. I just didn't want to deal with it. I was like, no, I don't, no. So that, I think, is a major reason why home buyers would pull out of a deal, is because of something that comes in inspection report. What are other reasons why people would cancel? I think nowadays, other reasons why people would cancel would be because if you already own a house and you're trying to sell, and then you're going to buy another house, you may be putting the cart before the horse, have your house on the market, be looking at other houses, find a house that you really want, put it under contract with a contingency that says, all right, we're going to buy this house, but we need to sell our house first. And maybe there's a price that you're looking for, that you need in order to then buy this house, and your house isn't selling for that price, or not selling at all, and you're having to lower the price, all that type of thing, that could cause you to drop your deal, right? Cancel your deal for sure. And then I think another big reason that may be happening right now, that is actually, is the saying right here: home buyers in America are getting cold feet. I would say literally. Yeah. If you're any way kind of hesitant, because there's a lot that's going on that's up in the air, it feels like, right? What's happening with the economy, the housing market, just in general, depending on where you are, is just what's happening with it. Is this a good idea? Is this a good deal? Is this what's going to happen in the future in this area, right? Because in some areas you could be buying at the lows in the area, and in other areas you could be buying at the highs. In the Midwest and the Northeast specifically is super hot right now. Are you buying the high in the Northeast? Or are you buying the low in the Southeast? Stuff like that. And also, is it the low? Is it going to keep dropping? These would make you question, because you could believe one thing, but then what actually happens could be different. And nobody knows what's going to happen. Everybody just has a guess, right? Educated guess or not. It's just what happens is going to happen. It's no different than like the stock market. It's like, oh, well, you can think that this is going to happen, but just all of it, right? It's totally, it's what it is. So I think that there's a lot of second guessing, people just wondering, is this the right thing to do? And maybe psyching themselves out. And especially if you don't have, this is really is going to come up if you don't have to buy. If you don't have to buy, you're in a great position, but you want to buy, right? If you're maybe looking around, right? Like I'm looking around because I think it's a good time to buy, depending on your area, right? I think that while there's blood in the streets, because there's blood in the streets in a lot of areas, especially I'm in Florida. There's blood in the streets. There's tons of blood in the streets over here. It's a swampy, bloody mess. But I think that's a time to buy because you can negotiate. I mean, that's how we got this house right here. And I think that certainly if we waited longer, we could have waited longer, but there are other reasons why we didn't wait longer, why we didn't want to wait longer. If we waited longer, could we have gotten a better deal? Yeah, we probably could have. But I still think we got a good deal where we're at, for sure. So, and real estate is long term. That's how I see it anyways. Even though I've done real estate deals that are short term meaning under a year, right? To me, that's short. That's in real estate years, that's short term. Owning a house for under a year, is basically, that could be a fix and flip. That could, what a live and flip, but whatever. That's short term. So if you're buying something, a house, and you're going to have it for years, I kind of think you can't go wrong. You just buy it now, get a good price, negotiate, obviously do your inspection, negotiate, see if you can get some concessions, see if you can buy down the rate, see whatever you can do where it makes sense. Especially if it's your primary house. Just go and do it. Just buy your house. If it's for an investment, which my first house here I bought as our primary house, but I knew when we bought it, this was going to be a rental house. At some point when we're done living here, whenever that is, this is going to be a rental house because that's just how I saw it. I just saw this is the perfect rental. It's a great location. We got a great price. The mortgage is low, and we're going to cash flow immediately and well, right? All of that. It just made sense. And sure enough, it's working out great in that way. Where this house would be a different, some things would need to change if we were to have it as a rental in the future. Those things could happen, and very well could happen actually. But they could also not happen. So it depends. So this may be something where in the future we just sell it. When you're buying real estate, you got to have your options for your outs, right? What is my out? If you have an out, if you just plan on holding it and giving it to your kids or something like that, that's obviously different. But in a lot of ways, that's your out. That's your out. Maybe not your kids' out, but your out. I think that buyers canceling deals is just indicative of where the market's at, because there is such a stalemate in so many areas between buyers and sellers, whether it's sellers that aren't giving up pricing, they're not dropping, they don't need to sell maybe, and they want a specific price and they'll just let it sit until they get their price, or maybe they let it sit. They see they're not going to get their price and they just pull it off the market and they're like, whatever, we don't have to sell. There's a lot more of that now than in like 2008. They keep on comparing this to 2008. It's just not the same. I don't know. That comparison, I think, is not. It's just really not accurate. It's not the same at all. So this is saying buyers are skittish and selective. Most sellers are still operating like it's 2021, right? Looking for top dollar. Inspection repair issues are a top driver of home purchase cancellation. I mean, yes, of course. That's always, and to me, that's always going to be the biggest thing. Again, I've canceled before. It's always been over the inspection. Having the inspection come back and finding things that you don't want to deal with are over your scope, are more than what you want to deal with, right? All of that kind of thing. That just makes the most sense. Buyer financing fell through. That can happen. That definitely sucks. Buyer unable to sell current home, right? I mean, that's especially now, that's a big thing. Change in buyer's financial situation. That's kind of what's up with that. Like you lost your job or something while you're buying a house. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Buyer found another property they liked better. That makes sense. Concerns about the economic climate. Yeah, seller backed out. That's interesting. Low appraisal. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So when we sold our second house, the appraisal came in low. And I don't know, looking back, I'm like, should we have canceled because it came in low? There was some specifics with the house and with that deal that made all that happen. I think it could have went either way. We could have pulled out and then gotten a better deal, gotten a higher price for the house. That mostly has to do with it was during the buying frenzy when housing prices were getting bid up like crazy and we were getting over offer pricing, right? Overprice offers, tons of overprice offers. You know, houses were selling. I think the first house that I sold, it sold in like 10 days or something. It was really fast. It was something really fast. And the second house was almost that also. It was like 2 weeks or something. It was really fast. It was just during that time period. Because of where we were and what we were doing, we're like, you know what, let's just be done with it. We're already getting an incredible price and just the deal for us and how we flipped it was we just figured, you know what, we're still running away like we're robbing the bank. Let's just go with it and be done with it. So that's what we did. But yeah, that was super interesting. And I learned a lot from that because we didn't think about it. It was not, again, it was our second house that we were selling. So our first house was pretty cut and dry. It was a cash sale, very cut and dry. But the second one, yeah, we learned a lot. And there are definitely things that now I know that I would go and make sure is in the contract. Different things like that, for sure. So, and also, I mean, that type of time period is completely opposite from where we are right now. So those things that I'm saying I would put in the contract, I wouldn't need to put in the contract now because it's just not that time period. Because houses aren't going for over asking price. They're going for under. They're going for under. So worrying about if your house is going to appraise or not now is still an issue, but it's different. It's different now. Insurance issues, too expensive, couldn't get coverage. This is big, especially down here in Florida. High mortgage rates, you should know. I mean, this is absurd. I think this is an absurd reason because if you're looking for a house right now, you know that mortgage rates are high. You know what the rates are, and you should be getting pre-qualified before you're out looking at houses and putting houses under contract. Doesn't even make sense. This is dumb. It's insurance issues, yeah. The second you put a house under contract, the next day you need to call insurance companies and get quotes. Like you have to. You cannot wait. You have your inspection period where you can cancel and get your earnest money back. You got to be on the phone making calls and getting numbers real fast. Getting your inspection just immediately. You got to do it immediately. Yeah, that can happen. Sticker shock on insurance prices. Oh, here it is. Florida has one of the highest rates of home purchase cancellations. Oh, man. In Atlanta, 1,532 home purchase agreements were canceled in August, equal to 21% of homes that went under contract that month, the highest percentage among the metros in this analysis. Next came Jackson. Okay, so Atlanta was the highest, but Florida just has the most, right? Because Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, and then Vegas. I worked with one seller who received 78 repair requests from a buyer following the inspection. I mean, what are you, 78? And that was after the seller had already agreed to lower their $375 asking price by 25 grand because the house needed some improvements. Buyer came back and said they would handle the cost of the repairs, but only if the seller was willing to lower the price by another $100,000. The deal didn't work. I mean, listen, there's going to be that right now. There's going to be buyers that are just looking to steal properties because now's their time. And there's a lot of sellers that may get offended by that. I mean, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. But, you gotta, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, you can't have somebody steal your house. You have to know what you have and be reasonable. That's tough. I mean, we asked for a lot on this house. I mean, we just right off the bat, what we asked, right? The initial offer. I think that your initial offer should be as close to what you're looking for as possible. And then obviously if things come back in the inspection report, to me, the inspection report is where you really see like, okay, is this actually going to happen or not? And what makes the most sense? Because if you were really far off just in looking around and seeing what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, it's going to be the hardest for first-time home buyers because a lot of times they don't know what to look for. And they haven't seen an inspection report before, so they don't know what could be in there, what the inspector's really looking at, right? I mean, right, when we looked at this house, this was our 4th house that we bought. So we've been through this a lot of times, right? Both in terms of houses that we've bought and also houses that we put under contract, had inspections done on and canceled. So within all of that, we've seen like, okay, all right, this is going to need to be done. This is going to need to be done. This is going to need to be done. This is all going to cost this ballpark. Okay, we'll offer this amount. And then you can figure it out from there. So, yeah, that's wild. This is somebody looking to steal a house, which, if you could find somebody that's in that type of situation where they must get rid of their house for whatever reason, then you could have an opportunity to steal a house. I mean, now's the time, for sure. Florida has been building more homes than any other state, but Texas prompting some buyers to back out of deals because they're confident they'll be able to find a different home that works better for them. Okay, now this is super specific to Florida and Texas apparently, but really this is accurate. I mean, these home builders are just, I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but in a lot of ways you could say like they're really messing up this market down here. But at the same, it's so hard. It's hard. It depends on your perspective and how you look at it. Because you can say that home buyers down here are wrecking the market because they can drop their prices drastically, buy down rates, and also for a new build, your insurance costs, which we see insurance is a big thing, right? This is 7%. While that's not the highest, it's still a big deal, especially it's going to be a bigger deal in Florida than it is for other areas. Let's just say that. Maybe not for Texas, but certainly for the Northeast, for the Midwest, it's going to be a bigger deal for down here. Your insurance costs for a new build is going to be a fraction of what it is for a 30-year-old house, which a 30-year-old house in most of America is not old. It's not that old, but in Florida, it's considered old. I mean, I've owned 2 mid-century houses in the past, and now I own a 30-year-old house, and it's not, to me, this is a nice house. But for insurance costs, my insurance costs is higher than we did look at new builds, and the insurance, it is a lot lower, hundreds of dollars a year lower, right? In some cases, maybe even at $1,000, $1,500 a year lower. This is obviously depends on the house and the deal, and the specific location. If you're in a flood zone area, stuff like that, right? It does depend, but I would say probably, between hundreds of dollars and $1,500 lower. That's a lot of money. That could be hundreds of dollars a month lower for your pity payment. That's a big deal. Especially we're talking about affordability. That's a really big deal. This is where new home buildings, people looking at buying a new home You can get a better deal for a new home down here in Florida now than you can for the older stock, we'll say, right? Pre-built, already built houses, older houses. But we didn't go with a new build because you've seen those videos on new builds, and you ever go in a new build? I mean, there's new builds all in this area that I'm in. And we know a bunch of people that live in new builds. Our neighbors, a lot of our neighbors, frankly. And I don't think they're built better at all. I think they got problems. And I would be pissed if I bought a new build and I had problems. I would be pissed. Because you're buying something that's brand new, but it's shoddy. There's shoddy work. So we decided we're not going to do that. We bought a 30-year-old house because we think it's built better. That's just what it is. So I wouldn't buy a new build. Anyways, these are all reasons why people are canceling deals. And it makes a lot of sense right now. And, this is the benefit of being a buyer right now, is that you have a lot more options. I just think it's the time to buy. You can get deals.